first time I wanted to break out my shell was first day of 7th grade, actually. And it took me a whole year and a half before I actually opened up.
We were all there to encourage her to talk, and we really wanted to get to know her beyond just the little notes that she'd come in and the big smile on her face. We wanted to hear her. So I think we just tried to really show her that we were all there to support her and try to help her as much as we could.
Beginning of 7th grade kind of was a landmark for me. I was officially entering middle school. I would meet with so many different students from other schools. And I thought, okay, this is my chance. I can set that first impression on people. I can set the impression that I am a normal kid. I don't have selective mutism. I don't have autism. And I'm not that weird freak who hides out in the back classroom and cries all the time. It has to have the teacher come in and like carry her out or something. So I thought, okay, new people, new life, new chance. But I kind of went to my first day of 7th grade and I said I can't.
通常我回家的时候跟他舞舞，然后他会跳进他的窝里面，然后他会做窝。
Just being scared to change. If I made myself known to these people as this quiet, shy girl, then I don't want to change that. I want to stay that way. The constant dilemma just continuing all through 7th grade. In 8th grade, I got a new set of teachers since middle school is when you start experiencing those shift between periods and classes. And I had a few teachers who were really supportive of me. And it just made it easier for me to like channel my willpower just into speaking.
I had her last period of the day, so a lot of times she would stay after class and talk. I had a project where the kids would do something with a timeline, and they were supposed to do oral presentations where they presented an event, and they were supposed to have a prop that introduced their event. And Peggy had never, I don't think, at that time, done much talking aloud in class in front of everybody. And so I kind of bribed her by saying that I would give her cookies if she would give an oral presentation. Because her bird, her pet, was named Cookie, so I said I would give her cookies. And believe it or not, she did it. She gave the oral presentation, and all of the kids were so thrilled that she did. That time, she at least broke the ice. So we were all very proud of her.
She had gone through a lot of work in 7th grade with her 7th grade teacher, Mrs. Jones, had done a lot of work talking to her after school and trying to get her to come out of her shell. So by the time she got to us in 8th grade, she'd talk a little bit, but by the middle or so of the school year, she would read. When it was her turn to read around the room, she would read out loud. And then in January of that year for my class, she did a presentation, a speech that she wrote in front of the class, and that, I think, was a turning point for her.
My first speech in front of like a whole class, I was shaking the whole time. I would just stutter constantly. But the class just all clapped at the end, and it made me so happy. Just like happy, and then I cried that night also because it was all so stressful.
所以全球性的暖化会对我们有什么影响？大家都觉得说全球暖化应该对我没有什么影响，因为我没有感觉到外面没有台风，也没有暴雨，也没有屋顶倒掉了。可是呢，全球的暖化会让很多人的生活会变得更难。也许呢，在比较热带性的地方，他们会。The
day came around and I was there, and several other teachers, including Mrs. Jones, were there. And she went up to give her presentations, and it was very quiet. Every kid was focused on her. No one was talking. Everyone was paying attention to Peggy. And she read her speech louder than she had ever spoken before, which is not very loud for Peggy, but it was pretty loud. And, you know, I was crying. Mrs. Jones was crying. She had kids in the room who were crying because some of them had known her for years but had never heard her voice. So it was an amazing moment for her to just to have that support. And everyone in the room clapped when she was done, and she seemed really proud of her accomplishment. She had a big smile on her face. So that was probably the most defining moment for Peggy, where she really broke out of her shell.